Fang Gong and Rao Jing both saw a man standing in the department. Xiaoning came in and saw that the man was Qi Yu. It turned out that he was the new driver hired by the president. He and Wei Yi were lovers, so the two were talking about these things in the stairwell. As a result, they were seen by Fang Gong and the other two. The three thought they were in an office romance. Yu Heng saw that the two were being joked and felt very uncomfortable. He suddenly became very strict in the office, even to Fang Gang's subordinates. Fang Gong advised them to be obedient and keep a low profile during this period. Xiaoning notices that Ji has difficulty changing his bandages by himself, so she sends him a message asking him to bring a medical kit to the rooftop, which they consider their second secret meeting spot. Yu Heng knew that Xiaoning and Qi Yu were found in the elevator. Xiaoning told Ji Yu Heng that sometimes it is better not to punish subordinates too much. Otherwise, they will lose their hearts. Xiaoning also explained that Qi Yu was the ex-boyfriend of her good friend Wei Yi. Wei Yi went to line up to buy a cake, but because there were so many people waiting, she was going to give up. Unexpectedly, Qi Yu had already bought the cake and put it in front of Wei Yi. He apologizes repeatedly, explaining that he once thought he could balance his parents' and girlfriend's relationships. Still, he realizes he is wrong and vows not to give up on Wei Yi again. However, Wei Yi clarifies that she won't return to a past relationship, saying their chapter is closed and they can't return to the way things were. Fang Gong takes Xiaoning on a business trip. He is quite clever and teaches her a lot in preparation for her potential promotion. He mistakenly assumes that Qi Yu is Xiaoning's boyfriend, and when she tries to explain, Fang Gong promises to keep it a secret, leaving her unsure how to clarify the situation. Xiaoning received an apology call from the troublemaker while eating. Now, his money has been taken back, and this time, he also thanked Fang Gong for introducing him to a date. Fang Gong originally thought that he would atone for his sins this time and did his best. Even if he had no credit, he had worked hard. However, during the meeting, Yu Heng directly criticized Fang Gong in a notice. Fang Gong was very dissatisfied and went to Yu Heng alone. Yu Heng also gave his explanation. Fang Gong felt that Yu Heng deliberately put the responsibility on himself. Fang Gong also said that he must have his ability, and in any case, he would not let Yu Heng have an easy time. That evening, colleagues joined Fang Gong for drinks to keep him from being too upset. Xiaoning also attends to comfort him, but she receives a call from her mother, who informs her that today is the last day of Yu Heng's mother's treatment. Xiaoning came to the hospital, and Yu Heng was also there. Ji's mother inquires if Ji is usually quiet and comments that when couples stop talking, they grow distant. She also complains that Xiaoning doesn't wear a wedding ring and expresses her desire to give Xiaoning a gift, but she declines. Ji's mother planned to go home when she got better. Yu Heng knew that Xiaoning was angry about Fang Gang's affairs. He felt he did nothing wrong, but she felt that Yu Heng was too decisive. She also said she didn't understand him, and the two parted unhappily. A few days later, Xiaoning went home for dinner without calling Yu Heng. Yu Heng was alone at home and was thinking about Xiaoning, but he couldn't smile and apologize. He didn't know what to do, so he had to find Wei Yi. Yu Heng told her about the matter, and Wei Yi said he made Xiaoning insecure. On the other hand, Xiaoning's mother was also using her own experience to enlighten her, saying that since they were living together, they should live well, and if it didn't work, they should break up. The next morning, as soon as Xiaoning goes downstairs, she sees Yu Heng, who also wants to talk seriously with her. Yu Heng sternly informs Xiaoning that although Fang Gong has handled the follow-up issues, the bank manager ordered his strict treatment. Initially, the manager planned to transfer or demote Fang Gong, but Yu Heng pleaded on his behalf. Yu Heng explained that he reminded them because a customer was about to file a complaint over the bank card issue. Xiaoning realizes she misunderstood Yu Heng but feels he should have clarified things then. He hopes Xiaoning won't easily give up on their relationship. And Xiaoning reassures him that her mother has already spoken to her about this. She won't give up so easily. They decide to take good care of the fish together. During a meeting at work, Fang Gong yawns, and although he now treats Yu Heng very well, it's not easy for him to win back the partners. Yu Heng offers Fang Gong a project, but he directly rejects it. Xiaoning quietly suggests to Yu Heng via text to try a different approach, as it might work better. Xiaoning chats with Wei Yi during a break, and Qi Yu invites everyone to a class reunion. Wei Yi drags Xiaoning along, insisting they look their best for the occasion. Despite the gathering, Wei Yi doesn't show Qi Yu any respect. Meanwhile, Lu Sijing, unaware of Xiaoning and Yu Heng's relationship, wants to use the opportunity to reconcile with her. However, Xiaoning gives him no chance, stating that once a relationship is missed, it won't return. Yu Heng goes fishing with his mentor, and the bank manager reminds him that advancing requires teamwork, not solo efforts. This reminds Yu Heng of something Xiaoning once told him. Wei Yi gets drunk and insists on going home, so Xiaoning accompanies her. Initially, Chi Yu wants to drive them, but he gets a call from the manager and has to leave. Lu Sijing wants to take Xiaoning home, but she refuses. After parting with the manager, Yu Heng plans to pick up Xiaoning, but she says it's not a good time and hangs up. Yu Heng then asks his father for Wei Yi's address. Lu Sijing insists on staying with Xiaoning and Wei Yi to help them get a taxi, although Xiaoning doesn't want him to take her home. He forces himself into the car. After arriving at Wei Yi's home, Xiaoning quickly asks Lu Sijing to leave. Yu Heng arrives downstairs just in time to see Lu Sijing. Suspecting that Xiaoning doesn't want him to come because of him, Chi Yu also arrives, prompting Lu Sijing to hide nearby. Meanwhile, Xiaoning and Wei Yi continue drinking at home. Wei Yi pretends to be heavily intoxicated, trying to heal her emotional wounds, but she breaks down in tears when she realizes Chi Yu has come back into her life. Xiaoning can only comfort her, understanding that Wei Yi's lingering feelings for Chi Yu are causing her pain. Xiaoning falls asleep at Wei Yi's place and wakes up to see a message from Yu Heng saying he's waiting downstairs. At first, she thinks he has left, but to her surprise, he's still waiting nearby, making her smile. They return home together. On the way back, Yu Heng asks Xiaoning to tell him more about their colleagues, helping him better understand everyone. She describes each person, noting that Rao Jing is very professional, while Fang Gong excels at building client rapport. Rao Jing secures a new client, and everyone congratulates her, but Fang Gong, who hasn't closed any deals, starts to worry and even begs for help to close one. At this moment, Yu Heng invites Rao Jing and Fang Gong to join him for dinner, asking Xiaoning to drive them. Fang Gong initially complains that the chosen venue isn't upscale enough, but then they see Yu Heng arriving with a client. During the meal, Fang Gong does well at engaging the client, while Rao Jing tries to get Xiaoning to drink. However, Yu Heng intervenes, asking Xiaoning to drive, which spares her from drinking. He quickly works on winning over the client, confidently assuring them that their bank offers better returns than others. The client agrees. And later, they get drunk. Xiaoning worries for Yu Heng. He immediately grabs her hand when she secretly calls his name and lightly touches him. As they share an intimate moment, the client returns from a call, prompting Xiaoning to pull her hand away quickly. It turns out he wasn't drunk but had faked it to allow Fang Gong and Rao Jing to bond with the client. On the way back, Fang Gong complains about Yu Heng, puzzled as to why he would help him. Fang Gong, now quite drunk, babbles on, making Xiaoning laugh as she drives them. After dropping them off, Xiaoning meets up with Yu Heng, bringing him some honey water. She praises Yu Heng, making him happy. The two then walk along the beach, with Xiaoning expressing how much he has grown and how happy she is. Yu Heng is glad that she is there to keep him grounded. Their growing closeness deepens their feelings for each other. When the tide rises, Yu Heng lifts Xiaoning to keep her from getting wet, not caring that his feet get soaked. The next day at work, Xiaoning finds a bouquet on her desk and immediately assumes it's from Yu Heng. She tells Wei Yi about it and mentions that Chi Yu has been persistent in pursuing her, though Wei Yi is still unsure of her feelings for him. At the hospital, when promoting credit cards, Lu Sijing is the first to volunteer to apply. Rao Jing notices this and reminds Xiaoning to wear her work badge next time. She comments that Sijing seems enthusiastic, but Xiaoning, reluctant to interact with him, is advised by Rao Jing not to let personal feelings interfere with business. Reluctantly, Xiaoning proceeds to introduce herself, only to discover that it was Sijing who sent the flowers. Later, Yu Heng prepares a barbecue for Xiaoning at home and asks her if she received any flowers. This reminds Yu Heng of when he planned to confess to Xiaoning on her birthday, but Sijing beat him to it. Feeling down, Yu Heng recalls how Xiaoning accepted Sijing's confession back then, leading him to leave without confessing himself, a secret he still holds. Yu Heng also helps Fang Gong with a bad loan issue, and he now fully trusts Yu Heng after his support. While Xiaoning and Wei Yi are getting a beauty treatment, Xiaoning can't stop praising Yu Heng, while Wei Yi mentions how Chi Yu is trying all sorts of ways to win her over. Chi Yu's love for Wei Yi is simple and sincere. Yu Heng calls Xiaoning and, upon learning she's with Wei Yi, offers to pick her up. As Yu Heng arrives at the entrance, he encounters Lu Sijing and Chi Yu. Xiaoning tries to leave, but Sijing apologizes for past issues and reminisces about their school days. Xiaoning acknowledges the past but assures him she no longer has feelings for him. Yu Heng becomes more relaxed after hearing this. Sijing asks if Xiaoning has someone she likes, but she doesn't respond and leaves with Wei Yi. Yu Heng noticed Lu's lingering gaze. Later, Xiaoning rides home with Yu Heng, admitting that the flowers were from Sijing. He keeps calling, and after Xiaoning hangs up, he continues to call. Yu Heng, angry about the situation, insists that Xiaoning answer the call on speaker. When Sijing says upsetting things, Yu Heng stops the car and kisses Xiaoning, showing his courage, and Xiaoning does not resist. Xiaoning tells Yu Heng not to let Sijing's words bother him. Soon, Fang Gong was recognized as the company's outstanding employee, and everyone congratulated him. Rao Jing simply encourages him to get back to his seat. Yu Heng arrives, and Fang Gong, with a serious demeanor, wants to report something to Yu Heng, expressing his gratitude. Sijing continues to call Xiaoning. Rao Jing, noticing this, reminds Xiaoning that they are also business partners, so they need to handle any issues. Indeed, there is a problem with the bank's payment system. Rao Jing gets a call, and they rush to the hospital to sort it out. Xiaoning handles the situation at the hospital and has Sijing help out. She quickly resolves the issue, ensuring the patients receive their medication promptly. After solving the problem, Rao Jing sees Sijing's contributions and agrees to speak with him. Xiaoning decides to discuss things with Sijing after work. Yu Heng calls to ask if Xiaoning wants to have dinner, but she tells him she needs to talk to Sijing. They meet at a cafe, where he remembers Xiaoning's favorite foods. Despite this, she insists that they cannot go back to their past. He explains the pressures he faced abroad but acknowledges that they pale compared to the hurt he caused her. He asks for another chance, but Xiaoning firmly believes they cannot be together again. She admits she likes Yu Heng, but since they work in the same office and company policy doesn't support office romances, they must keep it private. She then leaves. Outside, Xiaoning meets Yu Heng, who has been waiting. She assures him she will handle past issues properly. They walk together to dinner. She mentions Yu Heng's popularity in school and reflects on how many girls pursued him. At the high school gate, he takes Xiaoning inside, intending to confess his feelings, but is interrupted by Xiaoning's words. Yu Heng had been silently loving Xiaoning for 10 years. At home, they agree to keep work and personal matters separate. Yu Heng gives Xiaoning his salary and entrusts her to manage their finances. Over the weekend, he takes her camping. They enjoy themselves, with Xiaoning watching Yu Heng play guitar. They set up a tent and Yu Heng makes coffee for Xiaoning. After a night of barbecuing and drinking, he gets drunk. Xiaoning helps him into the tent, discovering that only one sleeping bag was packed, though she doesn't realize he only brought one. At night, he covers Xiaoning with a blanket and, unable to resist, kisses her. The next morning, Xiaoning recalls the kiss and, feeling shy, uses it as an excuse to leave. At work, Yu Heng and Xiaoning remain professional, though he secretly brings her small snacks. In the evenings, they go shopping and chat together. In the office, Rao Jing informs everyone that today is Yu Heng's birthday, and they will celebrate it as per tradition. Xiaoning, who overhears this, becomes distracted and accidentally burns her hand. Yu Heng finds an excuse to ask Xiaoning to submit some documents, but it's just a pretext for him to help soothe her burn. She complains that Yu Heng didn't tell her about his birthday, despite her being his future wife, and he responds that they can celebrate together at home by making a cake. After work, they head to the supermarket to buy cake ingredients, but they are interrupted by a call from Fang Gong, who insists on celebrating Yu Heng's birthday with him. Though Yu Heng initially wants to decline, he can't. Xiaoning nearly gets caught, but Yu Heng manages to distract Fang Gong in time. She messages him, telling him she'll head home first to tidy up. Once home, she quickly hides her belongings while Yu Heng stalls at the supermarket. Xiaoning receives a call from a colleague, saying they'll meet in 10 minutes, and Rao Jing arrives with gifts. Xiaoning hurriedly finishes tidying while Yu Heng walks slowly to buy more time for her. As they approach home, Yu Heng finally opens the door, forcing Xiaoning to hide in a room. Xiaoning, still hiding, is nearly discovered when Fang Gong suggests calling her. Yu Heng distracts everyone by taking them upstairs and sneaks into the room, where he finds Xiaoning hiding in a corner, her legs numb from crouching. They stand close together, and Xiaoning feels embarrassed. She slips out while Fang Gong isn't paying attention and pretends to arrive at the door as if she's just returned, successfully avoiding suspicion. That evening, everyone enjoys hot pot together. Fang Gong and Rao Jing continue their usual banter, and Fang Gong gossips about Xiaoning. A subordinate mentioned that Yu Heng has requested additional personnel to arrive next week. While searching for something in the room, a colleague finds the gift Yu Heng had prepared for Xiaoning. Yu Heng graciously shows it to everyone. When the party ends, everyone goes home. Xiaoning, feeling jealous after suspecting Ji has a white moonlight, decides not to return and instead vents her frustration to Wei. She found out that the two of them had reconciled. A few days earlier, Wei had a problem with a light bulb, and Chi Yu came over to fix it. She was so impressed by Chi Yu's abs that she invited him to shower at her place, but Chi Yu, feeling shy, left. He accidentally left his ID card at her place. Wei Yi went to his dorm to return it. Seeing that he still kept their mementos, she was moved. Back at home, Xiaoning finds Yuheng washing dishes. She asks if he didn't tell her about his birthday because he wanted to celebrate with someone else. He explains that he hasn't celebrated his birthday since his mother fell ill. Xiaoning assumes Ji still has a white moonlight, creating an emotional barrier between them. However, Xiaoning doesn't realize that she is the white moonlight. The next day, Yu Heng introduces Tang Yuhui to the team, revealing that he is her senior from school, which sparks gossip in the office. Yuhui comes from a wealthy family, and the colleagues speculate that she might be Ji's white moonlight, causing Xiaoning to feel uncomfortable and leave.